What's up, guys? This is Return to Tennis. I'm Aaron. Thanks for returning. Got some footage out there today you guys take a look at, but first I want to say thank you and welcome to my first official subscriber. I hope you like the content. I'm going to get some more up here and there. You want to drop some comments or some information, maybe some tips if you're a tennis player, what you think I can maybe work on to try to fix some of these problems I'm having. I'm all ears, buddy. But thanks for joining us. So today we went out and we're hitting our 3 heaviest rackets. That was the backhand there, one-handed. That hurt. Elbow is still tender. We're trying to figure out this two-handed backhand. So we're hitting a lot of one-handed forehands, trying to clean things up, and hitting some two-handed backhands, trying to get used to the idea. We started with our heaviest racket, the Wilson Prostaff RF97 version 11. It is strung with the Toro line Ether 17 gauge. Love the racket, super stable, no vibration out of the frame on a mishit, which is a plus. But I did hit this racket a little earlier this week. That's me shaking my wrist out. My wrists are bad. Once my wrist is warmed up, it's not too bad though. But anyway, we did hit it a little earlier this week, sent that one into the fence. And I could feel maybe a little bit in the shoulder because it's a lot of weight. There's another one into the fence. It's sitting right now at about 360 grams. We did everything we could to bring the weight down on it. We trimmed the grip as much as we could, and we swapped out the dampener for a pill-shaped dampener. It was a couple grams difference in weight. Anything we could do to bring the weight down. The strings are a little more twangy with that smaller dampener. That's me trying to hit the slice with it. Sliced backhands, one-handed, do not really bother my elbow too much. It's only the topspin shots. I was having a little rough time getting that backhand down there with the slice. And notice I'm hitting a lot off my back foot. And I don't finish with the racket in a high position, like toward my shoulder. I finish it toward my hip, but I'm hitting the ball in like this. I think this might be my old swing coming back a little bit. I'm having a lot more success with the swing. I'm top spinning it. It's dropping in, but the racket finishes low, not high. That time I finished a little high and then came low. The other problem I have is I really like hitting at this court because it's kind of secluded. It's never crowded. There's hardly anybody ever at the park here. But the downside is the condition of the court is not the best. It has some dead spots. It has some kind of surface material on it that is cracked, and in some cases it's peeling off. And in other places it's bubbled. So there are cases like if the ball lands in one of those spots, it just doesn't really bounce very well. It kind of dies on me and then gives me a weird read off the bounce. So I anticipate a certain bounce, and that's not what I get. There was a decent ball there. But I've got 3 rackets on line for today for us to hit. All of them are over 340 grams. This is 360 to start. That was a nice one. The biggest issue I'm having with two-handed backhands is grip position and body position. I know I should get my shoulder forward, but I'm having issues lining my feet up, I think. Because it's something that's very foreign to me. I've never hit two-handed backhands. So I'm not really hitting anything solid where I'm cranking them. That was not a bad one. A lot of times they're kind of loopy. They're in the court, but there's nothing really on them. There's no real pace. But on the plus side of things, I don't have that pain in my elbow because I'm getting support off the left hand. That wasn't a bad one. It's going to take a minute, I think. Oh, that's into the fence. There was a better slice. That one was as well. We're starting to figure the slice out a little bit. The Prostaff hits spin very well, and it's very solid. It's so stable compared to everything else. That's why I like it. But I do think the weight is going to be an issue in the long run. Getting ready to switch out on the rackets here. Ooh, I think that ball actually landed in. I double hit it, and it curved back in and dropped in the back of the court. It was really weird. Sun's out a little bit now. Trying to get in the rest of this. Rain is on the way. We're trying to get the rest of this footage in. We're now hitting the Diadem Tour Elevate. That's the 2018 model. It's not the new one. This has been the first time I've hit this racket in probably a couple months. As far as like actually hitting it extensively. This one is weighted at, that was a good ball, 347 grams. I still am getting a tiny bit of vibration out of it, out of misfits. The reason the weight is up is when I got this racket off of eBay, I got it a really good deal on it. But the grip size was a 4 3/8, which is too small for my hand. I prefer a 4 1/2. So to compensate with it, I overwrapped it with a replacement grip from Diadem, one of their replacement grips. They're spongy, soft ones, which are super comfortable. I love the grip. Beefed the handle size up, but it also added probably about 15 grams of weight. So we're at 347 with this. Strung with Luxilon Alu Power Soft. Nice string. That was a good ball. That one wasn't. Still feeling a little bit more vibration out of the frame than I would like. I really enjoy the Diadem rackets when I hit them clean. The response out of the racket when you hit a clean shot is probably one of the best I've hit out of everything I've got. But you have to be a pretty consistent level of player, I think, to get the most out of these frames, and I'm just not there yet. We'll go back to the backhand here in a minute. I also started working on like approaching the backhand. So tried, that was a one-handed backhand, and that was painful. There's a slice. Floating them too much. Just floating the backhand way too much. Two-handed and sliced. Again, I think the issue here is my grip and my setup. I've not formally been taught how to do this, so I'm trying to figure it out as I go, which is, you know, pretty much how I learned my whole game anyway, but yep, that hit the top of the net. That one might have landed in. Here's where I start working on actually trying to approach the ball, moving to it to hit it, because I know that's what's going to happen on the court. I'm not going to be lined up to hit where I want. I'm going to have to run the ball down a little bit. But again, the slices floated down. When slice shots were not as stressful on my arm, I just had to clean them up a little. It took me a minute to get them cleaned up where I was actually hitting them at a nice angle and not floating them. That's another good one there. Same as always, a little bit, some issues with consistency, but overall, we're getting more balls in than we have been previously. We have one more racket switch out here. We go to our lightest of the three that are over 340. This is the Technifibre. Now again, we added 8 grams of weight to the hoop at 3 and 9. And we added 8 grams of weight to the handle to try to balance it out. I feel like it needs more weight in the handle. I feel like it's not as headlight as I want it to be right now. It definitely hits better. That's one of those dead spots it hit the ball did. It definitely swings through better. I get more plow out of it now. I'm getting more power. But it does feel a little head heavy compared to the other frames. I'm going to do a little more experimentation with it. I have on order some Technigrip big padded gel grips that are going to do 2 things for me. They're going to decrease vibration into the handle for comfort, and they're going to add weight because they're pretty heavy, pretty thick grips. I'm going to put one on the Technifibre and see if I can, make it a little more headlight. And I'm going to put one on the Solinco Whiteout 305, and I'm going to try to beef its weight up. I'm probably going to add about 4 grams to the hoop on it as well to try to bump it to over 340, maybe 345. See how it feels. Oh, here we go. The notorious slinger bag has decided to jam. It has a tendency to honeycomb balls around the walls, and then nothing drops into the feeder. Got to give it a little stir. I'm also planning on removing the strings that are in the Technifibre. They're a ghosted poly black. They're just like a $5 string. It's not a bad string for $5. It's a solid string. But I'm going to replace it. I think I'm going to put in some Tier 1, either Black Knight or the Firewire Boost hybrid string set. I'm also going to drop the tension on it. Right now, everything I hit is strung at max tension for the frame. When I was a competitive player, I actually strung it always 2 pounds over max recommended. I'm going to drop the Technifibre down to probably mid-range on the tension, right to the middle, and string it with, I think, the Black Knight, and see how it feels. See if I can get a little more pop out of it, and maybe lessen some of the shock that's going through any other frames to my arm. Here we go with the 2-handed backhands. How's this going to go? And that's what's going to be coming up this week. I'm going to make those changes to those 2 rackets, the Solinco and the Technifibre. See if we can get a little bit more comfort, a little more power out of it, a little more stability. And then the plan is hopefully to be playing a UTR event on the 16th, Saturday the 16th. I'm going to try to do drills in the morning and the event in the evening and see how it goes. Hopefully by Saturday, which is just over a week away, the arm will be feeling much better, and I won't feel as much pressure to have to hit 2-handed backhands to compensate them. Hopefully it'll be enough that my 1-handed backhand will suffice. So we'll see. Keep our fingers crossed. That wasn't too bad. Just not much on. Same thing. That one didn't even make it over. That was probably in the fence. I didn't film any of it. I did hit serves with each of these rackets. Of course, the Wilson felt the most comfortable as far as stability because it's got so much weight. I did notice I have an easier time hitting flat serves with the Technifibre than I do with the other 2. I hit flat serves better with the Technifibre for whatever reason. normally I'm hitting a slice serve. It kicks wide and then out to the forehand side as it goes. But with the Technifibre, I can manage a fairly decent flat serve, which is what I used to hit flat and slice when I was young. I'd mix them up, but recently I've been hitting almost exclusively just the slice serve. I haven't tried to hit the flat ones. But the Technifibre, I can actually hit the flat with some consistency, which would be nice. It'd be nice to be able to mix my serves up again. Just a couple more minutes of footage left, guys. Again, appreciate any likes, subscribes, some comments, maybe give me some tips on how I could maybe approach the problems I'm having. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate the views. Come back and see us again. But that is all for today. We'll get you some more stuff maybe next week. But for now, we will return you to your regularly scheduled programming.